Hey folks, good evening. Thank you for joining in today. Uh, okay, I hope everybody can hear and see me. Just to be sure here. Can everybody see me? Hey folks, can you hear me? Am I audible? Okay, cool. So yeah, unfortunately, we have been using YouTube. We have been using Zoom to connect to YouTube for all these live sessions with guest speakers. Unfortunately, it's not working as expected today. I think there is a connection problem between Zoom and YouTube. Sorry for that. So let's do one thing today. What we'll do is I'll try to answer questions that you have. We'll reschedule the discussion with Aditya for tomorrow. We'll find alternative solutions, and once everything is stable, we'll reschedule this whole thing again. Okay, so don't worry about it because Aditya is also a very passionate student, and he went through his own ups and downs in the preparation of GATE. His story is very inspiring, and I mean, he's a very enthusiastic student. So it's very important that you hear from him directly. So, and he also wants to interact with students, answer some questions live. So instead of doing a recorded session, we'll try and do the live session again tomorrow. Hopefully, again, we'll try to find alternative solutions and fix it, number one. Number two is, in case there is a glitch again, if you can't fix the technical glitch between Zoom and YouTube for tomorrow, we'll put out a recorded session. Okay. So since anyway we all are here, let's discuss. Again, you can ask me questions. I'll try to answer as many questions as I can. Okay. We'll continue the session till 8 p.m. Unfortunately, we could not loop in Aditya because of the glitch in the Zoom connection. So I'll answer some of these questions, and we will have another day, most likely tomorrow itself, for a session with Aditya. Okay. Okay. So let's go in here. Okay. Is it necessary to follow standard textbooks to achieve a good rank? It takes a lot of time, and many times read a lot, which is not necessary for GATE. Okay, so this is a good question that Ashutosh is asking, which is it important to read the standard textbooks? So again, remember that standard textbooks are not written for GATE preparation. They're much more exhaustive. They're phenomenal sources without doubt. But if you're short on time, you should try and focus on the GATE syllabus, because GATE syllabus is much smaller than a typical textbook. If you take any textbook, take for example, for algorithms and data structures, take the CLRS textbook. Its syllabus is vast. It has, I think, close to 1,000 plus practice problems and exercise problems. It will take you easily 1 year to just complete that whole book, at least 6 months to just complete that book. So studying from textbooks, while it is a great idea because it teaches you a lot of depth, it is not appropriate if you're preparing for GATE for only 1 year. If you're in BTech first year or second year, it makes a lot of sense, because I did that myself when I was preparing for when I was in my BTech. I would actually learn from standard textbooks and solve exercise problems. So when I came to my third year and final year, when I wrote GATE was actually trivial for me, to be honest, because I prepared from some of the best. So I prepared from CLRS. I bought CLRS in my second year, first semester, and I went through CLRS in my second and third year. So if you are in the first or second year of your BTech, and if you have ample time, please do read standard textbooks. But if you're preparing for GATE for 1 year, you don't have time, we would recommend you to prepare from a much more concise source, so that your preparation is much more directed towards GATE. Right? So that's what I would like to recommend. Okay. So would you recommend GATE for experienced professionals? Again, in my class, this was almost a decade ago. The average, so we had a lot of students with 2 to 4 year experience. So there are also experienced folks who join top institutes because that gives them a career boost. But if it is 5+ years, we don't recommend it. But if you have less than 5 years of experience, you could still consider GATE, because that gives you a very valuable degree, and also it strengthens your foundational knowledge, and gives you opportunities to go to better jobs. So, okay. So somebody asks how to get a rank which is under 1000. Again, so we have done a live session. I think sometime last year, same time. You can check it on our channel. It's called How to Score 55 plus marks in GATE. Okay, it details exact strategy on what subjects, what topics to prioritize, what subjects are typically easier in GATE. So if you just follow that strategy of preparation, you can comfortably get 55 plus marks, which is roughly like a rank below 1000, right? How to complete course syllabus on time along with daily practice? It's a very good question. So we recommend that you fix a certain time every day. Again, whether you're a student or working professional, it will change based on that. Try to fix a certain time. Maybe it could be morning, or it could be sometime in the morning, sometime in the evening. Whenever you're learning a bunch of concepts, try to solve practice problems related to those concepts, because many of us think once we read the concept, we think that we understood the concept, but you have actually not understood the concept unless you have solved a few problems and clarified your doubts. That's very, very important. Many people just read theory and don't practice. You can just say goodbye to your GATE rank. Okay, you're not going, unless you're a brilliant problem solver, it's going to be very hard to get a good GATE rank. So our strategy is, if you are a course registered participant, learn a concept. Again, for every 6 to 7 hours of concepts, we have practice tests. Please take them. If you're not a course registered student, once you learn a bunch of concepts, go to previous year questions, solve at least from the last 5 to 10 years, preferably 10 years of questions, right? From those concepts. For example, imagine you have learned sorting and searching in data structures algorithms, right? Try to solve as many problems as possible from sorting and searching from the last 10 years of question papers. This is what we would suggest you. If you do not, see, you have to go learn the concept, practice, learn the concept, practice, revise. That cycle has to keep going on. Okay. So somebody says which textbooks to read. Again, pick up any standard textbook. So if any university that you're part of, you'll have standard textbooks. Right? For example, any standard textbook you have, which is part of your BTech curriculum, it's good enough. Don't worry about it. Most universities have good textbooks, either as textbooks for the respective courses or the reference books. Right? For example, CLRS, which is Introduction to Algorithms by Carmen Leeserson, Rivest and Stein. That may not be a textbook in many universities, but it will be a reference book. Okay, you can pick that book. Again, any standard textbook that your university refers you to with good exercise problems, you can pick it and go ahead with it. Okay, don't worry about this textbook or that textbook, because for a single subject, there could be multiple good textbooks to follow. Okay. So is preparing for GATE from today late? No, it's not late actually. The reason being, we are still in mid-June, right? So if you think about it logically, lot of students start their preparation in June and July. We have seen a good chunk of students who got good ranks under 300 who started their preparations last year in June, July. So since you're starting in June, July, you have to spend 3 to 4 hours every day without distractions, with full focus on GATE. If you do that, again, we have seen students who even start in August, some of them even in first week of September, and they still crack it because they're extremely disciplined with their time. It all boils down to your focus, discipline, practice. That's all in a nutshell, right? So is GATE exam about breadth or depth? It is a pure breadth exam. It is nothing to do with depth. GATE is all about, again, if you look at any subject or any problem or problems that you have in GATE, they are not considered hard problems by people who actually know the subject. They're often considered as medium level problems. They're neither easy nor they are hard. They're actually medium level problems. And most of GATE is about testing whether you have the breadth of knowledge at the undergraduate level, so that when you go for your master's degree, you have most of the basic concepts from your undergraduate degree in place. It is by no means hard, and it's by no means evaluation of your depth of knowledge. It is only a breadth of knowledge. Okay. Okay, is it trivial to score 50 marks? Again, what might be trivial for one person might be hard for others. So I think we should not trivialize anything. Okay, because again, if you know the basic concepts, if you have done decent practice, getting 50 marks is actually easy. I won't call it trivial. Okay, but getting 50 marks, again, look at the number of people who qualify for GATE. It's actually quite low. That's because most people don't prepare seriously or don't have the foundational knowledge in computer science. So let's not say it is trivial, but it is fairly easy to score 50-55 marks if you do the basic preparation, even if your problem solving skills are not very good. Okay. So how many days one should give to a particular subject? Again, this is very subjective. Again, if you spend again, there will be some subjects that are harder for some students. There are some subjects that are easy for some students. Like when I was preparing for GATE, all of the math subjects were very easy for me. It was the system subjects which were slightly harder when I was a BTech student myself, right? So my suggestion always is, there will be some subjects that are hard for you, some subjects which are easy for you. It all depends from person to person. So those subjects that you think are hard for you, focus more on it. We have seen some students for whom math is hard, right? Engineering and discrete maths is hard. So whichever subject you think you're lacking, focus more on it. But on an average, you can comfortably finish one subject in under 15 days, comfortably. If you spend 3 to 4 hours a day, you can comfortably finish a subject in under 15 days. You can easily do it. Okay, you can actually, there are a lot of small subjects that, like you can do whole of theory of computation and compiler design in 15 days. That's actually 2 subjects, but they're very related, so that when you practice a little, you can easily crack it, right? So 15 days is a good ballpark number, but try to do it under 15 days. There might be some of you who can finish a subject in 7 to 10 days also. Okay, so there might be some of you who might require 20 days to complete a hard subject. Again, hard is relative here, right? Okay, so how to revise? Again, I think we have mentioned about this strategy multiple times in the past also. The best strategy to revise is, whatever you are learning in a week, try to have one day, maybe a Saturday or a Sunday, revise everything that you have learned in that week in the weekend, number 1. At the end of every subject, which might be roughly 2 weeks, revise the whole subject once. Once you finish 3 subjects, revise the whole 3 subjects. And when you revise, you don't have to go through all the videos and everything. You can just follow the notes, the detailed notes that we share, which is freely accessible, or the highlighting in the notes that you have made, or any short notes that you have made. Revision need not be going through all the videos, because that takes considerable amount of time. You should always try to revise from your notes. Anything that you're not sure, go watch the video. And you should also revise the mistakes that you have made in practice tests. So you learn a bunch of concepts, take a practice test, the mistakes you make a note of them, make it part of your revision cycle. So as a rule of thumb, 1 week a day, put it aside just for revising all the concepts. At the end of every subject, revise that subject. At the end of every 3 subjects, revise all the 3 subjects. A simple rule of thumb. Okay. What would you recommend if any student got off-campus placement in Amazon and aced a good GATE rank? I would ask you to join, again, what role in Amazon? That's important, because Amazon has a bunch of roles. If you have gotten into the software development engineer role at Amazon, unless you want to pursue a PhD from a top university, or you're interested in teaching, or you're interested in research, there is no point doing a master's degree. Let's be very clear there. If you already have a good job at a good product-based company, there is no incremental value in doing a master's from a top university in India. There is no value add. Unless you want to go into research, or you want to go into teaching profession, or you want to go pursue your PhD, right? If it's, because in the 2 years that you will spend at, let's say, some IIT or IISc, if you spend it at Amazon as a software development engineer and put in the same amount of effort, you will become from SDE 1 to SDE 2. in 2 to 2.5 years, you can easily become SDE too, right? Again, if you did not get a role of SDE, but some other role, it completely makes sense to join a top institute like IITs or IIScs, because then you can go into SDE roles very easily, right? Okay, so somebody says how to make notes while watching videos. Please don't make notes while watching videos. We already have publicly available notes based on our course videos that you can download. Download them, just highlight the key points. Don't make notes. The reason we gave those notes for you is so as to make your preparation much more streamlined. So just highlight it. You watch the whole video, go through the notes, watch the whole video, don't get distracted. Watch the whole 15-minute or 20-minute video. There are some videos which are 25-minute. Watch the whole video, go back to the notes, go through the notes, highlight whatever key points you want. Done. Because the notes is already written, it should not take you more than 5 minutes to do that. Okay. Okay, somebody says what should be the best sequence subject wise for revision. Again, we have a video on how to prioritize subjects. You can just check out a video. It's a 1 hour long video that we did last year sometime around this time, which is how to score 55 plus marks. And we also have subject wise analysis, right? So for example, take theory of computation and compiler design. The problems that are typically asked from these subjects are very, very easy in GATE, okay, relative to other subjects, which means it's very scoring. So you should always focus on those subjects which are scoring. That's a simple strategy, right? And be better at them. So we have sorted all the subjects. It's already there on our YouTube channel, which is how to score 55 plus marks in GATE. Please watch that, wherein we tell you step by step on which subject to study after which subject. Okay, that will help you there. Okay, so one second. Which one is again between, somebody is asking between IIT Bombay and IISc in terms of placement. There is not much of a difference. Most of the companies that you get at IISc Bangalore, you'll get it at IIT Bombay. There is a small difference that at IIT Bombay you tend to get more finance companies also, while at IISc you tend to get more research roles. That's the only basic difference. But otherwise, for an average student at IISc and an average student at IIT Bombay MTech, the difference in placement will be insignificant. Okay, so okay, one second. Okay, so how to stay motivated after poor test results? Okay, again, this is a very common question. Again, remember that you cannot get disheartened. Remember that, very importantly, people, because this practice test is only the first of the tests that you're taking. Don't expect to ace the very first test, practice test that you're taking. Because if you ace it, that's great. I mean, because you just have to learn concepts, crack GATE, right? Because you already have the problem solving skills and the foundational knowledge. But if you can't crack it, it's okay. There are thousands of people like you who are doing similar mistakes. It's okay even if you get 35-40% of marks in practice tests at this point of time. Because it is through revision and practice that you'll improve. Just ask yourself this question, right? In your 11th and 12th class, did you solve all the calculus problems in the first go? No. Over time, by practice, by revision, your skills improved. Same thing will happen here also. You, again, even if you get 35, we have seen students who used to get 35-40% marks in practice tests in June, July, who were consistent with their effort. If you give up now, you can forget your GATE rank. Please don't get disheartened. Just continue your practice. Stay focused on the preparation. Your skills will improve over time. Right? We have close to 5,000 problems if you're a course registered student. And if you finish all the 5,000 problems, we can give you more problems if you want. Don't worry about the number of problems. And these 5,000 problems are not previous year questions. Right? If you take the last 10-year questions, that's another 1,000 plus questions. So don't worry about the number of questions that 5,000 plus previous year questions, another 1,000, 1,500 questions. That's more than sufficient for GATE preparation. Right? So don't get disheartened now. What is the optimal way of taking up test series? When to attempt each type of test? So we have subject tests, or we have topic tests and subject tests, right? So our recommendation to all the test registered students is as follows. Once you finish topics in any subject, try to take the topic test. Once you finish the whole subject, take the subject tests. All the topic and subject tests are available and they're open right now, right? So you could be studying any bunch of topics or subjects, just solve it along with your preparation. Once you finish all the subjects, take the 3 subject tests, right? We have these multi-subject tests, right? In which we have 3 or 4 subjects in each multi-subject test. Take them once you finish all the subjects, and then take the grand tests and mock tests at the very end. So you should think of it like this. First time you are learning, once you finish a bunch of topics, take the topic tests. Once you finish the whole subject, take the subject test. Finish all the subjects. Second time, revise all the subjects once, and take the multi-subject tests. Do one more revision. Then take all the grand tests. Then one more revision, all the mock tests. Okay, so we have designed the test series also in such a way that before every test series or along with every test series, you're also revising everything, right? Okay, one second. When and how to make short notes? Again, everybody has a different strategy of making short notes. The simple rule of making short notes is, again, like when I was going through these things, I made short notes in the long notes itself. I would just highlight a few concepts in red, and those are my short notes. The objective of short notes is you should be able to revise the whole subject in about 2 to 3 hours. That's the objective of short notes. You can make your short notes as part of the long notes itself, right? By just highlighting it. That's one option. Second option is you write, because some of you may remember when you draw diagrams, right? So what you write is completely up to you, but just make sure that you can go through that whole notes. Just try to ensure that it's no more than 20 pages per subject, and you can revise that whole thing because you have written the notes yourself, or you have highlighted from our notes. You should be able to revise all of the short notes in about 2 to maximum 3 hours. Okay. Okay, one second. If I complete course lectures by September, then how do I prepare for October 18th All India mock test? Again, see, if you are not confident, again, we recommend that you take the mock tests on the day they are available. Okay, in case you can't finish it, you can take them anytime later also. Nobody is forcing you to take the mock test on that specific date itself. We recommend that you take it. In case for some reason you are not able to take it, once that duration of the test is over, for 24 hours the test is blocked, and after that it's open for everyone to take, for everyone who could not take it earlier to take it again. Okay, so in case you are not confident, take it later, but please don't postpone it forever. Very common mistake we see is people postpone taking mock tests till Jan. That's completely incorrect. It's okay if you have completed all your subjects by September end. First 15 days of October, revise all the subjects, go take the first mock test. You know where you stand, right? That's important because you have October, November, December, Jan. You have 4 more months to refine, right? So that's very important. Please don't skip mock tests. In the worst case, you can always take them later. Okay. Okay. One second. Till which month you should complete watching the videos? Again, it depends a lot. We have had students who would finish watching all the videos by early to mid-August. We have had students who finished watching the videos and practice tests by early December also, right? And in both cases, people cracked it. So don't worry specifically about when you are finishing. The earlier, the better, because you get more time to do it. See, at the end of the day, if you can spend 6 hours a day preparing for GATE, please do it. If you can spend, but try to spend at least 3 to 4 hours. The more the better. Finish it as fast as you can. It always helps you to do that, right? One second. Okay, very good. So Aryan, that's a very good question. How much time should a student struggle before looking at the solution? We would recommend a strategy like this. Read the question, try to answer it. Okay. Spend about 10 minutes, that's okay. Struggle for about 5, if it's a 1 mark question, struggle for about 5 minutes. If it's a 2 mark question, struggle for 10 minutes. If you can't solve it, don't look at the answer immediately, just stop. Let the question simmer in your head. Come back to the question a day later or maybe in the weekend. Don't look at the solution yet. Just leave it as is. Okay. Attempt it once more without seeing the answer. So we would want you to take a shot at the question twice, because once a question is in your head, probably at that point of time you couldn't think about it clearly. But it is perfectly alright to take some more time and think about that question. So try to attempt that the next day or maybe a couple of days later. Okay. Or maybe in the weekend, try to do that. Second attempt also, if you fail, then see the answer. Once you see the answer, just make a note in your notes on why you missed it. Is it a conceptual error? If it's a conceptual error, please watch the videos related to that concept. If it is a gap in your problem solving skills, then you should say, okay, what is it? Didn't I understand the question? I understood the question, but it did not solve it because I was not able to connect it. If you look at all the solved problems, for every question, if you notice, most of the solved problem solutions that we describe are as follows. We read the question, we highlight all the key points, we draw some diagrams or equations, and then try to solve it. That is a strategy that works very, very well, right? So try to solve the problem twice before seeing the solution. In case you can't solve it, it's okay, see the solution, but make a note of this fact that you couldn't solve it first time and why you couldn't do it. Okay, try to fill those gaps. Over time, your skills will surely improve. Okay. Again, somebody asks, what is the optimal marks to get a rank under 100? Again, it changes from year to year, but again, I don't want to commit to a number, because an easy paper will have a smaller range of marks. A harder paper will have a wider range of marks. But as some of our team is just mentioning, I think if you get about 68 to 72 as far as last few years is concerned, you can expect a rank in top 100. 65 plus I think is a good safe bet. Okay. So somebody says Amazon SDE versus Gate. Again, I think I mentioned this. If you have a job, if you have a role as SDE 1 at Amazon, and if you are not interested in research or PhD or teaching profession, please join Amazon or any top product based company. If you don't have a product based company job, again, we have discussed this in some previous live session also, please take Gate, because it opens doors to new opportunities. Number 2. Number 3, if you have a job at Amazon or a top product based company, and if you're interested in research roles, or if you're interested in research in general, or a PhD or a career in teaching, please go take Gate and go to a top university for your PhD. Okay, so somebody says, with 7 years work experience, shall I go for Gate exam mainly to gain knowledge? I mean, you can do it, there's nothing wrong with it, but you can also gain knowledge by, because you're a test engineer, right? You can focus on specific skills. For example, instead of, there is nothing wrong with preparing Gate. Gate gives you a good breadth of knowledge across all the foundational subjects. There is nothing wrong with it. But an alternative suggestion that I would recommend personally would be pick up some good book or pick up some good skills in designing software, whether it is design patterns, whether it is system design, whether it is data structures, algorithms. Focus on these things, because those are the things that will matter in the future in your job role. Rather than, of course, there is certainly some benefit of understanding foundational skills, but more important for a 7-year experienced candidate would be, how do you design a software? How do you do low-level design or design? How do you use design patterns to do object-oriented design? How do you build systems design to build a scalable, large-scale distributed system? Right? what data structures and algorithms are used in big data systems. Those are skills that might be more relevant for somebody with 7 years experience rather than GATE. But if you have time at your disposal, GATE is a great way to learn a lot of foundational computer science. Okay. Can you conduct special session? Kiran, that's a good question. So we are conducting these public sessions, especially for problem solving for this month, because most students are at home, and it's just our way of giving back to the community of everyone who is preparing for GATE. Certainly for our course registered students, these problem solving sessions will continue till February, which will not be public. So they'll only be private. So don't worry about being left out, because you're getting everything here, right? You get high quality service, you get course videos, you get practice problems, you get feedback on it. So try to make the most of it instead of complaining about others who are getting some stuff probably via these live sessions, right? So we will certainly conduct a lot of private sessions in the future. Currently, we are conducting them publicly so that people who are preparing for GATE or who are thinking of preparing for GATE, who are in the early stages of preparation, would benefit from these sessions. But going forward, most of the problem solving sessions will be limited only to our course registered students. I hope that is clear. Okay. How much marks is good enough for test series? Again, last year, if we look at our grand tests and mock tests, many people who got 65 plus marks in our grand tests and mock tests ended up getting very good ranks in GATE if they don't do silly mistakes, right? So in grand and mock tests, try to get at least 65 marks. That's what we would strongly recommend you. Okay. In practice tests at this point of time, in June, July, even if you try to get at least 40% marks, but more the better always. Even if you're getting 35-40% marks, don't worry. You just have to focus more on problem solving and writing that notes on where you missed it. Okay. So are the test series questions at the GATE level or are they harder? 90% of the questions in our test series are at GATE level based on the last 5 to 6 years of GATE questions. If you notice last 5 to 6 years of GATE question papers, they are not hard, they're slightly tricky. So we have kept our questions also roughly at the GATE level, but 10% of questions will be slightly harder than GATE, just to prepare you for a case where in case the GATE question paper is harder, you don't panic. Okay, so that's the rough weightage that we have given. So somebody says, I'm an electrical engineering student, I'm starting from scratch. Yes, you can get a good GATE rank in GATE 2021. Since you're an electrical engineering student, some of engineering maths will be easy for you, but there are also, again, something like digital logic circuit might be very easy for you. Something like computer organization and microprocessors could be easy for you, but there are also other core computer science subjects like theory of computation, which might be slightly harder. So try to balance between hard and easy subjects, but try to spend at least 4 hours a day from now, and you should be able to comfortably finish everything that is needed for GATE. Okay. Somebody says, how to select a subject in MTech IIT. First, let's get into an IIT, then you can think about it, right? So don't worry about it right now. Most IITs, the subjects that you select, the electives that you select depends on what subject you're passionate about. Okay, pick any one of them, you won't go wrong. Okay, if you're interested in operating systems, most IITs and IIScs have one or more professors who are experts in operating systems. You can take all of their courses and do your master's thesis under them. So pick any subject of your choice, but it's too early to worry about it now. Okay, what is important now is get the breadth of knowledge across all the subjects. First, crack the GATE exam. 1 second. So very good question. Somebody says, I've gained a lot of interest in data structures algorithms. Can I choose it as a specialization in my MTech? Yes. I have friends of mine who worked on cutting edge randomized algorithms as their master's thesis work, right? Algorithms and data structures is still a very, very core subject, even at graduate level or PhD level computer science. So don't worry about it. So somebody is asking, where is our guest speaker, right? So where is our guest speaker, Aditya? I think we mentioned this. We had a glitch trying to connect our Zoom account to Facebook. We will try to fix that glitch by using alternative software and do the live session tomorrow. We'll make an announcement if the technical glitch is fixed. Okay. So I thought since anyway students have joined the session, I didn't want to cancel it. So I'm taking a general Q&A session now. One second. So how to improve oneself to get a 2-digit rank? 2-digit rank is possible. Single-digit rank, there is a lot of randomness in it. Okay. So 2-digit rank basically means you need to get at least 68 plus mark or 65 plus marks in GATE. If you look at the last few years, all that it requires is whenever the formula is the same, it doesn't matter. Learn the concept, practice, revise, errors you make a note of it, fill your gaps. The formula doesn't change, and avoid silly mistakes. Lot of people who can get a good 2-digit rank, they mess up because of silly mistakes and they go into 500, 600 rank range. So avoid silly mistakes is the biggest reason why I think people who are in the 500 rank could not get a better rank. It's basically that. Okay, I think if you put in all the top 100 or top 300 rankers, conduct the exam again, their ranks will be jumbled up to some extent. Okay. So somebody says integrated PhD in brain and AI from IISc, any future scope? Again, if you are passionate about research, it's certainly a very good place. IISc is the best institute in India for fundamental science. They have a very strong neuroscience department. They have a very strong AI and computer science department. So I think, to the best of my knowledge, for brain and for brain sciences or brain sciences and AI, I think IISc is the best institute in India. Again, once you finish that, you can always go into careers in machine learning or careers in fundamental research in neuroscience. There are a lot of careers there, so don't worry about it. Okay, somebody says, tell us about your GATE prep. Okay, this is a good question. Since we are anyway at it, let me try and answer that. So I studied. I studied in the youngest engineering college of my batch. I started my BTech in 2003. I finished it in 2007, and I messed up my engineering entrance exams. I messed up my IIT JEE exam. I really messed it up big time because I was overconfident to some extent. So I couldn't get any good university or college. So I joined an engineering college in Visakhapatnam, which is my native town or city. Visakhapatnam is a city, it's no more a town. So I joined a college where I was the first batch. Imagine, I was the first batch in the college. We did not have labs, we did not have proper faculty. I studied in a college called Sanketik Vidya Parishad in Visakhapatnam. I was the first batch of the college. And of course, being the first batch, things don't go as you expect. So I said, okay, whatever happened, I'm going to prepare, because I was very interested in computer science. At that time, computer science was not the best subject. A lot of people were taking electronics and communications or ECE or EEE and not taking computer science. But I was very clear that I wanted to study computer science. So from first year, I said, okay, whatever happened in my JEE, in my MSET, it's okay. This is my rock bottom. I'm going to only swing back. So I started studying every subject of mine from the best textbooks that I could buy. Alternatively, another very good thing that happened when I just joined my BTech, MIT, not MIT in India, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, they started putting out their courses online. So there is this thing called open courseware. They started this around 2002. So they started putting their courses online. I convinced my father that, okay, let's get an internet connection because this is going to help me more than anything else. So we had a very basic desktop then. We got some basic internet connection, the cheapest possible from BSNL. And I started watching these videos. So I said, anyway, in my college, I did not have, for some subjects, I didn't even have faculty. But I said, okay, what if I didn't go to a top institute? I'm learning from the top professors. So I would study every subject properly and thoroughly, as best as I can. And I would solve the exercise problems as best as I can. So my first year BTech, I was the university topper. Like I got some 90% or something like that. So rest 4 years, again, my second year also, I really loved digital logic circuits, computer organization. I loved those hardware subjects a lot. So I started playing around, doing a few hacks at my home. I also got some practical knowledge by taking a breadboard, building some simple circuitry. It was a lot of fun. And all this I was doing by being at a college which had literally no resources whatsoever. Thankfully, I had a bunch of very good friends who were also interested, who would be part of my hacks. And these are friends from college. So I would study my subjects as best as I can. In those days, you could take the GATE exam in your third year and use that GATE rank after your fourth year. So after my second year, second semester, I said, I want to prepare for GATE. Again, at that time in Vizag, there were no online courses, obviously. There were not even decent offline courses. So I said, okay, how do I prepare now? I looked at the GATE exam, GATE sample questions. I think we could get it online even those days. There was also a book published by somebody, I don't remember, which had all the last 20 years of GATE questions. So I took that and I said, okay, I've studied from the best resources, best textbooks, best professors at MIT. So let me start solving these problems. Again, when I was in my BTech first year, second year, I was solving the assignment problems at MIT, right? I was solving the assignment and final year problems. And I was like, then GATE is cakewalk for me, literally, to be honest with you. But what happened was, because at my second year, second semester, there are a lot of subjects that are not yet covered in my syllabus. For my third year, when I was writing my GATE, I said, I'll only prepare those subjects that are covered in my syllabus till now. So I skipped computer networks altogether because computer networks was in fourth year, first semester for us. I think I skipped most of compiler design because I think this was also in fourth year, first semester. So some subjects I completely skipped. Other subjects I said, I'm going to prepare very thoroughly. I used to spend easily 2 to 2.5 hours every day. I made my own notes based on GATE questions. Whatever mistakes I was making, I prepared thoroughly for GATE. I also signed up for some test series that were being conducted then. I attended some, I skipped some. But when I wrote the GATE exam, the biggest mistake I did, that year I was thinking that I would get a very good rank. Okay, I was very confident. But that was the year 2006. This was my BTech third year. That's the hardest question paper ever that I can recall. So I was thinking that if I want to get a single or a double digit rank, those days the marks were 150 marks. I have to cross the 110 marks or 100 marks to get a single or double digit rank. So I was in a hurry to get those 100 marks out of 150 marks. But after spending 1 hour on the question paper, I realized that this is the hardest paper I have ever seen. This is the hardest paper I've ever seen. And I panicked. I started making a lot of silly mistakes. Then I said, screw this. I'm not targeting even 100 marks. I'll just go back, correct all the silly mistakes I made, and I'll only solve for 40-50 marks. I think I only ended up solving for 50 or 60 marks this is out of 150 marks. Out of 150 marks, I only solved for 60 marks or so. That year, GATE first rank, because he is 1 year senior to me at IISc, I think his marks are about 65. GATE first rank. That year, I got GATE rank 176. Cool. So I knew that, okay, this is an extremely hard paper. I got 176. I said, okay, this rank I can use next year. I can go to any of the major IITs. But I always wanted to go to Indian Institute of Science because it's a top research institute. And in my fourth year, I started learning about digital image processing, about neural networks, and I enjoyed that. Then I said, okay, this is what I want to do. And I realized Indian Institute of Science is the best place for masters. Again, I prepared for GATE in the fourth year, but fourth year, because I prepared very hard in my third year, I would just revise notes and practice. Whatever subjects I skipped, like CN and CD, I would prepare them very thoroughly in my BTech final year. But in my BTech final year, I prepared for the hardest paper. Again, in those days, we did not have these many sample questions. So I just had previous year questions, and once previous year questions are all done, I would just go to textbook and practice. So in my final year, I was spending about 2 hours again every day, consistently practicing, solving problems, making notes of mistakes, etc. Fourth year, I would go to the exam and I saw the question paper and I said, this is the joke paper. Okay, this is the easiest paper I've ever seen. Again, 2007 GATE is the easiest paper. I started solving all the questions. I finished the paper before time. I asked the invigilator, can I leave? He said, sorry, you can't leave until the last 15 minutes or so. So I sat there, I corrected a few mistakes I made and I came out. I was the first guy to come out. The invigilator said, are you mad? You have time, why are you leaving? I said, I've answered every question that I can. Why should I care? I just left and I got All India rank 2. Okay. So my preparation is slightly different from many of you, especially if you're a first year, second year student. Prepare thoroughly from first year, your standard syllabus. Then GATE is a cakewalk. Okay. So I hope this is something that's useful for some of you. Okay. Cool. So okay. So somebody talks about ISI. Okay. Yes, somebody says if I prepare for 5 hours a day, 8 months, more than sufficient. If you can spend 5 hours without distractions and prepare for GATE, you can easily crack it. Okay. Again, it's already 8 p.m. I will take leave. Unfortunately, we could not get Aditya on the live session. We'll try to fix it and ask him to join tomorrow because he also wants to answer some of the live questions. And we will try and get him back onto the live session for sure. If there is a massive problem that we are not able to get a guest speaker, worst of the worst case, we will put out a recorded session. Okay. Thank you, folks. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining today. Sorry, we couldn't get the live session with Aditya, but we'll surely ensure that it will happen in the next couple of days. Thank you very much.